Good morning. Yeah.
We'll start with an opening statement from Coach, and then we'll take questions.
All right, good to see everybody. First of all, thanks for being here. I know it's late or early, as Mr. Lev just pointed out. I thought it was really a fun night. I was really appreciative of how our fans hung in there after the weather delay. And the Zona Zoo, you know, when we came out of the locker room after whatever it was, a couple hours of delay, just seeing the Zona Zoo packed like that. So I thought that was outstanding. You know, we've obviously got a big game coming this week. So when you go into a game like this, I thought our team just did an incredible job throughout the week with their intentionality, just their like living red line in the practice environment and attacking every phase of it. And I think that showed up tonight, which was really exciting. I mean, you guys have heard me talk about red line, but you know, I think the effort and the execution and the accountability showed up. And I think, you know, big picture wise, obviously, I've got some work to do in the accountability, or we have some work to do in the accountability space, because we were heavily penalized tonight, and it was just too many. And some of them are avoidable, and some of them are football. But you know, we're going to dive in hard on that and make sure that we're not putting ourselves in a situation where we hurt our chances to get the results we want. But I'm excited. We came into this game expecting to win, and we did that. And I thought the offense was rolling, and you know, second week in a row the defense holds the team without a touchdown. You got to be fired up about that. So we're excited. It was a good win. Our fans were awesome. Everyone hung in there. You know, I think it was a good night here in Arizona Stadium. So I'm fired up.
Thank you, Coach. We'll start with Justin and then Jason.
So what was your experience like from the time that you heard about the delay until kickoff? Just how would you describe what happened?
I've been in a few of those before. So, you know, really you just sit and wait. And you make sure the players and the strength and conditioning staff and the training staff is taking care of the players. I felt like Lauren Vossler snapped into action, making sure we had food when it kept getting pushed, making sure we got food in here for the players. You know, because you try and eat roughly 4 hours before kickoff. You know, it's kind of the magic number. But then that kickoff keeps getting pushed. And as you know, these guys are big dudes and they're hungry. And so you got to make sure they have gas in the tank because, you know, it's a long game. And with all the timeouts, you knew it was going to be a long game. So I thought everybody did a great job. For the coaches, we're just kind of sitting around waiting. You know, so we watched some football. We talked a little bit about the game tonight, but we were anxious to play. And so I kept asking Ben, you know, what's going on? When are we, you know, he was sick of me bothering him.
Jason and then Michael.
The benefits, not just tonight, but for the next few days, especially with the shortened week, of being able to get the starters out of there and get some guys playing time who wouldn't normally play and just getting the starters some rest.
Yeah, I think there's a benefit to that. You know, I think, and also I think it's good for our football team. It's good for those guys to get some live reps and get a feel for the speed of the game and get an opportunity to play. You know, those guys work every day just as hard as everybody else. And so, you know, when you do get an opportunity like that, it's great to get those guys out there. So to me, it's a win-win. You know, it's a win for our football team in terms of the next opponent, getting a little bit of rest, and then it's also a win for those players that work their tails off, you know, every day and don't always get a chance to play.
Michael and then Brian.
Was there talk at all, did you hear it on the sideline, about maybe getting a shutout, and were the defenders disappointed that they didn't?
Yeah, of course they were. There's always talk of that, especially when you go that deep into a game and you have a chance to get it done. So I think there definitely was some disappointment that way. I think part of that also is that, you know, we gave some other guys a chance to play. And so we didn't have quite the same group out there, but that's okay. I think those guys were more happy to see some of those guys play. Some of those freshmen get out there and run around and make some tackles and block some guys and run the football. That part was more exciting.
Brian and then Justin.
Noah started first 10 completions, some long touchdowns, particularly the ones to Nunu. How much did you see from him as far as wanting to make up for maybe his misses a week ago?
You know, I don't think Noah necessarily looks at it as like trying to make up for it, but he wants to play better. You know, like he just has such a high standard for himself, and we all have such a high standard for him. And so I thought it was great the way we executed in the first half on offense. You know, I think we scored on every possession, I think, in the first half. You know, the stuff I talked about last week, like some of the improvement, I thought we were better in the red zone tonight than we were a week ago. I think we were better on third down as well. So that stuff was all really exciting to me because those were areas of emphasis for us, you know, this last week of practice.
Justin and then Chris.
As far as the offensive line goes, we saw Ryan get some action. What's your evaluation of what he did and just the offensive line as a whole?
Rhino?
Yeah.
Yeah, Rhino. It was funny. It was on the second series, and we tried to up tempo, and the whole O-line was down here, and I saw Rhino, coming. He hadn't played. He hadn't played in a year, so he was gassed. But I thought he did some really good stuff, and so I think we're all excited for him. As you guys know, when you have an injury like that, it's a long road back, and there's some long days and some lonely days and some hard moments, and Rhino's the kid that doesn't go home for Christmas break and doesn't go home for spring break because he's here rehabbing. Like, that's how committed he was, and so we're excited to get him back in the fold, and hopefully as he continues to build his conditioning level and that kind of thing, that he'll be able to contribute in more meaningful ways. But we were all excited to have him out there.
Chris and then Michael.
You touched on it already, but an improvement on third down from this week versus last week. You guys were 5 of 10 on third down tonight. Just what the preparation was like this week in practice in order to get a result like that in the game.
Well, I think it was something that we just talked about a lot with them, and in the practice environment, putting them in those situations, right? Just like a lot of work on third down, really, really being thorough in the conversations about our plan and the need for high-level execution if we want to be the team we want to be on third down. And so I think Coach Daggy and the offensive staff did a great job with that. And then I think the players did a nice job in converting on some of those. And there were a couple that got taken away because of big penalties, right? So that number would have been better. So I'm encouraged.
We got to see Riley Wilson for the first time. He was just kind of flying around all over the place in the backfield, et cetera. Does it kind of excite you, the possibilities of integrating him into like the first team?
Absolutely. We have high expectations for Riley. And, he was unavailable for some of the training camp with an injury, but we're glad he's back now. And so I think everyone's going to love watching that guy play. He plays with crazy red line. He's got physicality to him. He has a nose for the football. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Justin and then Brian.
And then specifically with Javen, what was the most impressive part about the way he was able to perform tonight?
I was just excited to see him. It's funny. I was on his head on Wednesday about playing faster, just all the time, and I think that showed up tonight, right? It was awesome, and I think Noah threw him some great balls, to catch those or to make those throws, those long throws, and complete them in stride, where the receiver doesn't have to slow down, is really impressive. And so those balls were on the money, and then Nunu was able to finish them, which was really, really exciting.
Brian and then Cohen.
Kedrick didn't play. I think he was in a boot, and then Trey looked like he went to the locker room, didn't come back. Anything about either of those that you think could be long-term?
No, I don't know yet. I don't know about Trey, and Ked, we'll see.
Last week you had the running game that was super explosive. This week it was the passing game. What does it mean to you to have an offense like that where you can pivot depending on what the game needs? Yeah, I think as we look at it as a staff, I think we're going to be disappointed that we didn't run the ball better tonight, to be honest with you. I think we can be much better in that regard. It was fun to see us be that explosive offensively, and I think that's one of the things that we talked about with Coach Daggy and kind of the addition of the receivers that we brought in. It was exciting to see those explosive plays, and and also just I thought Noah had great command of the offense, the entire game, and so that was really good to see him just operating and executing at such a high level.
We'll go to the back and then we'll finish up with Justin.
2 questions. One, Jabari Mann was ejected for that roughing the passer penalty. Any comment on that? And how do you go about addressing that?
Don't do it.
Yeah.
Keep your head out of it. You know better. That's an easy one. He knows better. He's been playing football for a long time. Targeting is not a new rule.
Second question, great passing game today. You talked last week about your running game and how it's great to have 3 players play that position. How did that week with practice lead up to this game, and also how did they perform today?
Well, I think I just mentioned I think we need to run the football better, if that's what you're asking. You know what I mean? I think there was some good runs in there. I think it was fun to see Wesley Yarborough get in there and run the football and have some nice runs there at the end of the game. But I think that's something as we get to work on this thing, we're going to want to make sure that we tighten up some of those things. And there was also some good runs in there that penalties negated also. And so, that's obviously going to be a huge point of emphasis for us as we get back to work.
Finish up with Justin.
Considering his connection to the program, how was it seeing Mason Bray get into the game there?
It was awesome. It was awesome. He looked great, went on his, a couple of those zone reads, and it was fun. I think Mason Bray is an awesome young man, and he's worked incredibly hard, and he's doing a great job. He's doing a great job, learning the offense and playing quarterback here, and he's doing good in school, and he's having a great experience. So he's someone on the team that's respected and valued, and it was awesome to see him get a chance to play quarterback.
We saw a lot of freshmen get into the game. Was there one in particular on the offensive side of the ball that caught your attention?
I think it might be Wesley. I know that was late in the game, but I thought he ran with confidence. He ran with physicality. He seemed to have really good vision out there, and so I'm excited about that.
Awesome. Thank you, Coach.
All right, bear down.
working with you and Mel Fafita?
I feel like we've been practicing that like all week at practice, so I feel like it just clicked when he got time to do it.
Follow up. Brent said that he was kind of on your case on Wednesday. He wanted you to play faster. What did you kind of take from that instruction out onto the field tonight?
Oh yeah, so he was just basically telling me like fast guys don't play slow or run slow, and I just took that with me tonight when I was seeing my opponent, just to think like to run by him.
Justin?
A question for both the defensive guys. What do you think you guys have shown in the first 2 games?
I feel like we've shown that we're gonna fly to the ball. We try to get as many heads to the ball as possible, before that whistle's blown, and I feel like we've shown that we're relentless.
Yeah, I feel like just honing in on swarming to the ball. That's just been a big key for us as a defense, and I feel like we've emphasized that in the first 2 games, and we got to continue to do so.
And then your interception, what did you see on that play?
Well, one-step read, I was a little late to it, so then I was breaking downhill, coming to make the tackle, and it popped off his hands. Just had to finish the play.
So Genesis, this upcoming week, you guys are playing against Kansas State. You were on the team last year that played at Kansas State. What do you remember about that game?
Yeah, they're physical. Do a lot of 12 personnel. They got some good receivers, good quarterback, good running back. So it's gonna be a good game.
Is it going to be weird seeing Gunner on the other side?
Oh yeah, for sure. That's my dog, but it's wartime, man. We gotta get it in.
And how do you reflect on just your time working with him?
Oh yeah, that's one of my best friends when he was here. Great dude. Paved the way for me, honestly. We roomed together every time we were in the hotel, so he was a great dude, great role model for me, and I can't wait to see him.
Obviously, there was a big delay tonight, about 2 hours. For all you guys, how did you handle it? What did you do during the delay? How did you kind of keep yourself in the right frame of mind?
First thing is, I want to shout out the fans for staying. The lightning delay, I know that's, tough to stay through. But as far as like the players in the locker room, just staying mission focused. That was the main thing that we were focused on. Adversity's gonna hit, and it comes in different ways, and just staying mission focused.
Yeah, for sure. Just staying ready, staying prepared mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, all of that. Keeping our body ready, our mind ready. Just as soon as we got out there, just ready to go.
Yeah, they basically set it off and basically just like staying off our feet, so we got energy to go back out there, and then like the fans just staying. That was it.
For the defensive guys, we got to see a little bit of Riley Wilson, especially in the second half. What did he show tonight? What's his skill set like?
He showed what I've seen since we got here in January. I already knew what Riley could do, so it was just time for other people to see it.
Yeah, for sure. He's always going to make the most of his opportunities. I know he's a dog, so every opportunity he get, he's just going to show that.
Chris?
The defensive guys, you haven't allowed a touchdown yet this season. Just what's working in terms of schematically and just the chemistry that you guys are all having on the field right now?
Our mantra is, know what to do and how to do it. All 11 to the ball in a bad humor and keeping them out of the end zone. So, that's the last part is the main thing. Like, no matter if they make a play or anything, the main thing is keeping them out the end zone.
Yeah, he said.
Any more questions for our student athletes? Michael and Justin?
Genesis, you had a tackle tonight where you kind of threw the tight end down with one hand. Can you describe that play?
Oh, yeah. So it was a cover one. I spun down, and he was to the flat side. I didn't expect him to throw it, so it kind of looked like it caught me off guard because I was right there, and he threw it, so I was like, oh, shoot. So I just, threw him down.
Justin?
For all you guys, so big opponent coming up here. What do you think this upcoming test can really show about you guys?
Every opponent, we take every opponent and we treat them the same way. We're going to prepare, during the week, and every practice that we have is going to be locked in and detailed. And when game day comes, and we handle business.
For Nunu, Noah probably had a game last week that he wasn't satisfied with necessarily, even though you guys won. He was obviously much sharper tonight. What were some of the things that he was talking about or maybe working on during the week that showed up in this game?
He was talking about like basically like going through his reads and just finding the right guy, and that's really all I can remember.
You guys were really using empty formations a lot tonight and really trying to spread them out. What was the idea behind that?
We seen like they do a lot of cover 3, cover 1, so we just wanted to spread them out and get them ISO with our receivers.
Finish up with Justin.
Question for both Genesis and Javen. Also, on the other side, you guys have Trey Spivey, who played at Kansas State last year. What does he bring to your team, and what has he shown you in the first couple of games?
Trey brings a lot of size and physicality, and he's a great route runner as well. So like, don't let the size fool you. He run a great route, and he's also very fast as well. Not faster than me, but but he's very fast though. So like, yeah, I'm excited to see what Trey does.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely excited. That's my boy. Besides all the on the field stuff, we already know he can play. But off the field, he's just a great dude. He's a great locker room guy, just a great dude to talk to if you need to talk to, if you're having a rough day. And yeah, he's just a great overall dude, and we know he's gonna pop out in the game when it's game day.
And then can you talk about the relationship that you have with him, and what's that, like that pregame celebration you guys have with like the Kevin Durant dance?
Oh yeah, that's just our handshake we made up before the season. Just a little something. I felt like we've been teammates for a while. We haven't had a handshake, so we just made that, and we do it before the game.
All right, thank you, everybody.
Thanks, gentlemen.
Yes, sir. Appreciate y'all.